I'm here with Joe, PV Trader, and today we're going to be discussing bonds, E-bonds, the third token in the EMP ecosystem. Joe, can you explain a little bit to us about why we have bonds, what the point of them is in the ecosystem?
Yeah, absolutely. So e-bonds are a way for people to utilize their EMP when we're below peg. So when the boardroom falls below 1.01 TWAP, there's no more new minting of EMP. So people that are holding EMP have a few options. They can save up for nodes. They can just hold on to their EMP, or in this case, they can buy e-bonds. The way e-bond works is one e-bond will equal one EMP. So when you take your EMP and buy E bonds, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So for every one EMP that you purchase, you get one E bond in exchange. And then you hold on to that E bond and you wait to redeem it when we are above peg. So once we go above 1.01, the redemption button will turn on, and now you can redeem those E bonds for EMP again at a 1-to-1 ratio. However, if you hold out until we're above 1.1 peg, then you actually get a premium. And the higher we are above 1.1, the higher the bonus that you get for the redemption.
You can't get out of that bond contract in essence unless we're over peg and that redeem button is on. So until that happens, the EMP that you have sold for E-bonds is locked up. You will get price appreciation on the EMP. If you think about it, the only time you can buy E-bonds is when we're below peg. So that means that EMP is going to be at X price. And then when we go back above peg, EMP is going to be more valuable at that period of time. So you're going to get that price appreciation. But if you wait until 1.1 and above, then the Treasury is giving you an added bonus of additional EMP. And there's a chart in the docs that you can look at to see what the payback is on that. You mentioned nodes. It sounds a little bit like nodes, except for it doesn't pay you back continuously. Is there strategy of looking at bonds versus nodes and how you might approach that?
It really comes down to your timeline and what your expectations are. The thing with e-bonds is they don't have an expiration date. So you can view them as an investment within the protocol, because long term, you can get the benefits from holding the bonds. If we don't get above 1.1, then you don't get that bonus paid on top. You'll get a 1-for-1 exchange. If you get impatient with bonds, and we're above peg and you don't want to wait till we get to 1.1, then absolutely, you can go in and redeem them and you will get back EMP for doing so. And along the way, you've helped the protocol. So there's no loss in that. You didn't gain any additional exposure, but you did help the protocol along the way. I like to think of e-bonds as a long-term play for those that are patient and don't mind waiting for us to get to 1.1 or above. What some people choose to do is when we are above peg, they may take a portion of their e-bonds, redeem them for EMP, but still hold on to a small portion and just wait out till we're above the 1.1. Nodes give you an immediate reward because by buying nodes with your EMP, nodes will start producing EMP constantly 24/7 at a given rate. The bigger the node, the higher the output. So it's really just what your timeline is and what your expectations are, but both can work really well for you. And bonds work really well if you're more of a long-term player.
I think it's important to remember bonds don't work like nodes in the sense that the E-bond does not generate interest during the time that it's locked up. By that, I mean, when you have that E-bond, it really doesn't have a value until you decide to redeem it. That's what the redemption bonus is, but that's not determined until you decide to get out of the bond.
Absolutely. And by buying e-bonds when we're below peg, you are helping the protocol because you're getting that EMP out of circulation. So it's not a bad cause, but you are not getting a reward for it until we are above 1.1. So that's why buying e-bonds and holding on to them until we're above peg, you can then make the decision, well, I want to take some of those EMP and put them to work. You can do that. And then you can leave a portion to when we are above 1.1 and get that kicker, the bonus on top. But really, it comes down to, again, your patience and timeline.
Is buying e-bonds good for PEG?
Yeah, absolutely. Because everything in the protocol comes down to this. Buying EMP will help PEG. Selling EMP will hurt PEG. If you have existing EMP and you're buying E-bonds, it's almost a neutral position. You are getting them out of circulation, but because you're not buying fresh EMP, you're not helping peg that much. It's minimal. It's really the fresh buying of EMP that has the most impact to get us back to peg. And buying fresh EMP can mean bringing in fresh capital to buy a node. It can mean zapping your eShare rewards in the farms for more EMP LP. You can sell your eShares to buy nodes, but anything where you're creating that act of buying fresh EMP is what's going to help peg the most.
If you're going into bonds as a primary means to try to help peg, then the best way to do that would be to buy fresh EMP and then use that fresh EMP to purchase the bonds. If you are using EMP that's been admitted from a node or from the boardroom, that EMP already exists because it's been emitted once. So you're not having the impact that you may think you are, but we just want to make sure that you understand that if your goal is to help peg, the best way to do that with bonds is to buy fresh.
Absolutely. Couldn't say it better myself. I'm going to leave it at that because you nailed it.